make no mistake, there is a heavy law enforcement presence, both here on the ground, and I'm sure you can hear the helicopter.
All right, the Battle of the Bell in Southwest High. This is Southwest hosting Mar Vista. Southwest with the ball. Jacob Galeana takes the kick and runs it back.
And we wouldn't even have craft beer in San Diego if it wasn't for water.
Wait, what?
We wouldn't even have craft beer in San Diego if it wasn't for water.
So that we can really challenge ourselves to make sure San Diego remains an age-friendly community.
Money. Charities such as the San Diego Foundation are already at work.
Because he started shooting again.
Mm-hmm. This is probably the third time.
And we looked down and we were squatting in a pool of blood.
World, get ready for Arjun Samani.
Nip it good. Oh, you can nip it. Nip it. Nip it good. See? Everything's perfect.
As you can see, we're here at El Cajon Boulevard and Rolando Boulevard. This neighborhood continues to be blocked off. This was the scene where 2 police officers were shot overnight. And what a wild scene it was last night when law enforcement arrived here. Police have not yet said whether or not he was shot by one of the officers who returned fire or if the suspect might have killed himself.
I just love playing with the team and playing over the line. My team is doing good and it's fun.
It's a game you can play until you're 75.
Here with my team and having fun.
Trying to live in San Diego for as long as I can, as long as I can afford it, and then, get to play LTL every single year.
Giovanni getting fresh for his birthday.
You would never know it by looking at him today. But this mild-mannered master barber used to be a real bad dude.
At a young age in my adolescence, I got involved with the gangs and, that whole atmosphere, everything that comes along with that.
Justino Alarcon could be a poster child for second chances. He doesn't want to get specific. Let's just say he got wrapped up in a lot of bad stuff at a very young age.
Before you know it, I regretfully found myself incarcerated.
That was age 16, and unlike most prison inmates, Justino used his time on the inside, preparing for his life on the outside.
You could do the time or let the time do you. And I chose to do the time. I didn't want to continue the cycle, and I didn't want to find myself in the revolving door that so many find themselves in.
During his 17 years in prison, Justino did a lot. He got his Associate of Arts degree, he learned graphic design, and the trade of heating and air conditioning. But one day, everything changed when an old inmate approached him with a different idea.
You're gonna learn how to cut my hair. And he handed me a cheap, big disposable razor and a comb.
You heard right, and apparently it was meant to be. He was so good with a razor and a comb, word got out, and he was a popular guy.
And next thing you know, within a couple weeks, I was cutting everybody's hair. I had a line of guys to get haircuts with a razor and a comb.
After all those years behind bars, he became the man who made the inmates look good. Little did he know, it was perfect training for his life after.
Yeah, I just never imagined that it would be, it would serve as a blessing for me.
These are the streets where Justino was raised, the streets where he got in a lot of trouble and the trouble that eventually sent him to prison for 17 years. Once he got out and he learned that skill, he promised himself that he would help as many kids get off the streets and not repeat the mistakes that he did.
Now that he has his own shop, he has a place to help those kids, and he does. It's called the Locker Room Barbershop in Chula Vista.
This is my way of touching lives in a quiet way. This is my way of giving back in a quiet way.
And once word gets out that a former gang member is now a successful business owner, his life becomes an example of what's possible.
I would hope that I inspire, that I serve as an inspiration, as a role model, and an example to them, of what someone can do, who really, really wants to do it, There you are, buddy.
Hard to believe Justino's life turned around with a razor and a comb inside prison. But sometimes it's not what you have, it's what you do with it that counts. In Chula Vista, Dan Plant, KUSI News.
All right, cool. All right.
More than 80 kids from across the nation hit the waves in La Jolla thanks to the Junior Seau and the Challenged Athletes Foundations.
You know how when you go out there and feel the water, like you get this nervous feeling in your stomach? That's when I get when I touch the water.
Surfing is fun, and I like it because you get to go fast on the waves, and I like waiting for the waves and actually surfing them.
It feels fun.
Are you stoked?
Say woo! Shaka!
For these athletes, surfing, it's just the beginning. After a day out in the water, surfing the waves, they know they can do anything.
I play sled hockey, wheelchair basketball. I do surfing. I also do water skiing.
Skating, basketball. I like doing basketball and tennis.
Smile!
For the families, getting the chance to watch their child be free from their disability is simply a priceless gift. In fact, I think everyone can learn a thing or two from these kids who have physical challenges but hearts of pure gold.
She is a good example of someone, to look up to, because it doesn't matter what the challenge is. She's just happy and finds a way to make the best of it.
In La Jolla, Ginger Jeffries, KUSI News.
It's exciting when you go out and look at all the different new ones.
The Ford Ranger.
I just like to come down and check them out.
'Tis the week after Christmas, and what do you know? 'Tis a great world of wonder called
the San Diego Auto Show.
At the convention center, the show's brightest star is a colossal collection of each kind of car.
We have over 400 new cars for you to look at.
I'll get 14 miles to the gallon on mine. That one, you get close to 40.
What would you like? The Toyota Land Cruiser.
There's Honda and Hyundai and Nissan and Rover, all in one place for folks to look over.
Wow. Beautiful. Man. Beautiful. Well, I'd rather have someone else buy a new car and let them take the depreciation, and I'll buy it used later on.
There's Chevy and Buick and Mercedes-Benz.
And in one of these babies, you're sure to make friends.
There's Acura, Ford, Mini, and Jeep. And this one's got room for campers to sleep.
Time to go to sleep.
They come with computers and 4 on the floor. Want to try one out? Just open the door.
I'm looking for a race car. One of those bad boys.
There are grown-ups who search at their own special pace.
I'm looking for the ones that they're giving away.
And kids who can dream of a car they can race.
Jaden, how fast do you think you could go in this Mazda race car?
I think that I could go like 6,000 miles an hour.
There are big rescue vehicles that make you look up. and a chance to relax and just hold a pup. Isabella, what do you like more, the puppies or the cars?
The puppies.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
So check them all out. Look them over and under. You'll say this year's auto show is a real
World of Wonder!
October 9th, 1980, Michelle Wyatt was found dead in her Santee home. The coroner's report said she was strangled to death. Wyatt was last seen by her boyfriend around 1:30 in the morning. No arrests have been made in the death of Michelle Wyatt. April 24th, 2009, Demetrio Batista was found dead inside his truck at the Vista Transit Center. The autopsy shows the victim's death was a result of foul play. An extensive investigation revealed no suspects or motive for this crime. April 22nd, 1994, a body was found burning in the middle of the road on Arnold Way in Alpine. When the fire was put out, officials discovered David Paz was shot before being set on fire. Witnesses report another car leaving the scene. This case has gone cold. When a case goes unsolved, the investigation into the crime doesn't stop. However, the way investigators look at the case, that's going to change a little bit. In fact, there are 4 ways that a cold case can get a new life. They call it the old-fashioned way, when a new witness comes forward with new information. Number 2, post-DNA investigation.
In other words, DNA was available to the investigators. We actually obtained DNA from a crime scene, put it in a database. But the suspect at the time was not in the database, and there's no hit. And eventually the suspect ends up in the database, and we get a hit, and that's a case we move forward with.
Another way is called pre-DNA, meaning there was no DNA known of at the time. So investigators will go back through the crime scene evidence collected, and with the help of scientific advancements, they'll see if there is any DNA left behind. And the final way, familial DNA.
And that's essentially how the Golden State Killer was captured. So in a simplified version, what that means is that we have DNA, we put it in a system. Our suspect may not be in the system, but we may get a match to a relative, where then it leads the investigators to the relative, and then with additional investigation, we can discover who the killer is.
The use of DNA and a national database solved one cold case dating back 35 years.
San Diego Police Inspector 6-1. Please send a cop car to the toilet massage on 5th and Market Griffiths got beat up. Who got beat up? Knocked out. A masseuse. What's the address there? On 5th and Market, the toilet massage.
You just heard the call to San Diego Police after a co-worker found the body of Luz Barreo. Dubbed the Twilight Murder Case, a woman working as a masseuse at the Twilight Massage Parlor on 5th Avenue was raped and murdered in November of 1975.
The dress that she had been wearing, he had taken it and ripped it in a few pieces in order to take one of the pieces and tie a ligature around her neck. So she was beat, strangled, and sexually assaulted.
Authorities had a description of the suspect. They knew he was in the military and that he went by the name Leon, based on a receipt at the massage parlor. Because of these limited details, the case went cold until 35 years later when investigators got a hit from CODIS, the combined DNA indexing system, on an inmate who was currently serving a life prison term for a 1982 murder. That hit opened the investigation once again, which meant the cold case unit needed to rely heavily on police work and evidence originally taken in 1975.
His name is Leon. He's about 2'10", height about 6'4".
The call that the coworker had made to the police became so critical because it actually was recorded, and I was able to play it back for her to help her refresh her recollection of a lot of the facts and the details that had faded from her memory, as well as there was a really detailed statement from her in the police reports that were used to help refresh her recollection. And so there are a lot of problems with cold cases, but they're not insurmountable, and obviously in this case we were successful and it all came together.
Leon Johnson was convicted of rape and murder in the death of Luz Barreo. No matter how cold a case may be, this team's not going to give up on an investigation because
want to have justice for the families and justice for the victim and public safety. I mean, you don't want to have killers walking the streets, violent criminals. They're out there.
Ginger Jeffries, KUSI News.
As the number 2 seed, Central Spartans took on the number 6 seed Santa Fe Christian Eagles in a great matchup. Let's go ahead and roll them highlights. Spartan cheerleaders showing those 4 letters we all love, KUSI. Opening possession, the Eagles' Jack Bozeman nails this 34-yard field goal to give the Eagles a 3-0 lead. Central responds on the ensuing drive. Angel Nava Esparza punches it in from 4 yards out, 7-3 Spartans. Second quarter, Michael Linguadoka drops back and is intercepted by Joseph Tarango. He eludes a tackle right here and follows his blockers all the way to the Spartans' 26-yard line. We have a nice hit right here by Eagles defender. Sets up this 1-yard touchdown run by Nava Esparza, 14-10 Spartans. Fourth quarter, once again, it's Jack Bozeman, this time from 45 yards out, 16-14 Eagles. Central responds quickly again as Angel Nava Esparza goes 26 yards untouched, and our final score, 28-16 Central.
It's an amazing feeling. I thank God for this. We're all brothers and we love each other like we're one of our own. And just having the city behind our back, that's what helped us strive through this win right now.
It was a great football game and they came out on top. And we talked last night at our team dinner about what it means to be a man. It means to know who you are and where you're heading. And each one of this group right here knows who they are and where they're heading. They're going to do unbelievable things in life.
And there it is, the championship matchup in the Division III will be played at Southwestern College at 1 p.m. Number 2 seed Central versus the number 5 seed Morris Tigers. And that will do it here pretty much. Angel Nava Esparza, a career-high 4 rushing touchdowns. The Spartans remain undefeated in a great, great game today. And we'll send it back to the station to Paul Rudy.